The cool downpour provides long-awaited relief from the heat and brings about a spectacular phenomenon on the plain. A few days after the fire, a carpet of pink lilies sprouts across the plains. Triggered by chemicals in the smoke from the fire, the beautiful bloom lasts only a few weeks. In the meantime, Nasanta's mother, the matriarch, needs to find food. The matriarch heads north, where the first herds of the migration begin to gather, leaving young Nasanta untended at the den. Spotted hyena milk is so rich that Nasanta can survive without suckling for days at a time, so the matriarch can afford to venture far from the den in search of food. At last, she spots a telltale sign of a potential meal. Vultures. Her suspicions are soon confirmed. A wildebeest bull lies injured in the grass. The matriarch is the first hyena on the scene, but she is not the only predator. This bull is the victim of the last lioness in Lua Plain. The matriarch tries to move in on the bull, but she's unnerved by the lioness. A conflict with a big cat could be fatal. The hyena keeps her distance as the bull quietly dies, not willing to provoke a conflict while the lioness remains nearby. The circling silhouettes of the vultures can be seen from far and wide, guiding the matriarch's clanmates to the kill. In the darkness, the hyenas feast at last. At daybreak, Nasanta's mother and her clanmates return to their den. The matriarch rouses the cubs. Nasanta is larger now, and lighter fur marks her face and neck. The adults have returned with meat, a rare luxury for hyena cubs. It's the highest-ranking cubs that commandeer the scrap. Nasanta is lost to the feast, but she fights for her share. The other top-ranking cubs are stiff competition, and they won't let lower-ranking cubs anywhere near this scrap. As an adult, Nasanta will have to contend with highly competitive clanmates at kills. She must learn to eat fast or lose out, since a clan can reduce a carcass to scraps in less than 20 minutes. She will still suckle her mother's rich milk for about a year, but this new taste for meat is the beginning of Nasanta's transformation into a deadly and efficient predator. The Lua Plain is undergoing an extraordinary metamorphosis. In the coming days, the rains fall in an almost continuous deluge, the beginning of an annual flood that will cover much of the plains in water. Dusty depressions become waterlogged marshes, and life floods into the plains. At last, the migration arrives. Just in time for the bountiful wet season, over 35,000 wildebeest descend on the plains, the culmination of the second largest wildebeest migration on Earth. Most of the cows are pregnant, and in the next few weeks, all of them will give birth. The calves make easy prey, but the sheer number of them ensures that many will survive to adulthood. For the hyenas, the time of plenty has begun. Meanwhile, at the den to the north, Nasanta is finding her place in the clan. She marks the grass around the den with a distinctive scented paste from glands beneath her tail. The adults use this pasting to mark their territory. For Nasanta, it's part of the process of establishing her rank. She is quickly learning to exert the status she inherited from her mother. This male flattens his ears behind his head as she approaches him, showing his submission to her. Nasanta lifts her leg in the typical hyena greeting, allowing him to recognize her distinctive scent. Most of the adult males here are immigrants from other clans who joined Nasanta's clan to find a mate. They forfeited the rank they inherited from their mothers when they left their own clans, falling instantly to the bottom of the hyena hierarchy. Despite Nasanta's age and tiny size, this male and all the other adult immigrant males in her clan are subordinate to her. The tiny cub holds such sway because her mother backs her up. The matriarch often comes to Nasanta's defense, attacking low-ranking hyenas to reinforce her tiny cub status. The male is now in a precarious position. He must show absolute submission if he is to avoid an attack. Nasanta follows her mother's example, sniffing the male's genitalia. He bows and bobs his head to show his subservience. But the clan females are not convinced. They join the interrogation. Fearlessly, Nasanta stays in the thick of the fray. The other cubs are jumpy, but Nasanta seems fearless. With the protection of the matriarch and the clan females, no hyena would dare to hurt Nasanta. 4 kilometers to the southwest, Twambo is not faring quite as well. He's also growing up fast, with the first spots showing through his black coat. But unlike most of the other cubs, Twambo is a loner. As the cubs get older, they become more aware of each other's ranks. The higher-ranking cubs have built bonds with each other, forming relationships they will carry into adulthood. But Twambo has few allies in the clan. When the other cubs do take an interest in him, it's usually to beat him up. The older the cubs get, the more they pick on little Twambo. And unlike Nasanta, Twambo will get no help from his mother. He must fight his battles alone. In the meantime, Twambo's mother has other things in mind. It's time to leave the cubs to hunt. There are many mouths to feed. The clan needs a big kill, Tonight, the hyenas will hunt as a pack.